Hello, General Hospital today will reveal the return of Peter August has sent shockwaves across the General Hospital fandom, reigniting the suspense and emotional trauma long associated with Anna Devane's past. When Wes Ramsey reappeared on screen last week, fans were quick to speculate whether this was a full-fledged resurrection or merely the fractured imaginings of a woman trapped between memory and delusion. Either way, Peter's face emerging from the shadows of Anna's psyche has already proven that some ghosts never stay buried, especially when Anna is the one haunted by them. The illusion may have been confined to her mind, but its effects are dangerously real. The question remains, if the hallucination feels this vivid, could there be something deeper at play? Anna's grasp on reality seems increasingly tenuous, and as she wrestles with the auditory hallucinations echoing through the island's speaker system, most notably the unmistakable voice of Caesar Fison, her denial gives way to dread. At first, she insisted that it couldn't be him. That voice, so cruel and controlling, belonged to a past she believed had been put to rest. But now, with every flicker of sound and shadow, doubt has set in. The isolation of the island has eroded her confidence, and while she tries to maintain control, the lines between reality and projection blur ominously. The re-emergence of Peter in her mind has only amplified this unraveling, forcing her to confront unresolved fears and the possibility that what she's experiencing might be more than a psychological episode. Meanwhile, the phantom presence of Liesl Obrecht adds another layer of confusion to Anna's ordeal. Though there's been no evidence of Lyle's physical presence on Spoon Island, Anna remains convinced she caught a glimpse of once unpredictable doctor lurking nearby. Could her mind, so desperate for a recognizable face, be conjuring Liesl as a subconscious cry for help? Or worse, could Liesl somehow be entangled in a web that Anna can't fully see? Perhaps once again under the manipulation of the late Caesar Fison's lingering influence? The ambiguity is suffocating, as Anna wades through memories and fabricated visions that feel indistinguishable from reality. There are troubling implications to consider if Anna truly believes Liesl was involved. Back in Port Charles, Liesl has worked hard to redeem herself after a long history of morally dubious alliances. If Anna returns home and begins to speak of Liesl's involvement on the island, real or imagined, the fragile trust Liesl has rebuilt could be jeopardized. Her colleagues and friends may view Anna's claims with skepticism, but even the mere suggestion of complicity with Fison could destroy Lyle's credibility and unravel years of rehabilitation. That possibility hangs heavy in the balance, especially for a woman like Liesl, who is no stranger to being misunderstood and vilified. Adding to the uncertainty is this curious case of Caesar Fison's alleged recovery. Whispers of his health improving have surfaced, but no one knows whether these reports are legitimate or just part of the psychological game Anna is being subjected to. The notion that he might be still alive, orchestrating this elaborate torment from the shadows, is as terrifying as it is plausible. After all, Anna has been prey to his manipulations for decades, and the thought he could once again be pulling strings from afar is enough to paralyze even the strongest mind. Every element of this new torment feels calculated, designed to fracture her resolve and question her reality. The emotional cost of these hallucinations is steep. Anna, once the pillar of intelligence, precision, and psychological control, is now stumbling through a fog of uncertainty. The reappearance of Peter, whether phantom or physical, has unraveled her composure in a way she hadn't anticipated. Her connection to him is laced with an unresolved guilt, regret, and an unrelenting need for justice that was never fully satisfied. If Peter is truly alive, then everything she believed about closure, consequence, and justice collapses. If he is not, then Anna must confront a far more terrifying enemy, her own mind. What complicates the situation even further is Anna's deep-seated fear that no one will believe her. Port Charles is no stranger to the bizarre, but a tale of voices through speakers, ghosts of former lovers, and spectral visions of deceased enemies may stretch even their suspension of disbelief. Liesl, in particular, may be the most directly affected, as her name being associated with another scheme involving Fison could reignite old animosities and destroy the tentative peace she has fought to preserve. The irony is cruel. Anna's attempt to piece together the truth may end up dismantling the very important relationships she relies on for support. At its core, the unfolding storyline is not just about a man's survival, but about how power justifies violence, how loyalty is twisted into betrayal, and how legacy can be endangered by the ambitions of those who wear authority like a mask. Sonny, who has always balanced on the razor's edge between criminal kingpin and emotional patriarch, is once again facing the ultimate reckoning. But this time, the danger doesn't come from rival mobsters or jilted allies. It comes from a government organization willing to kill in the name of control. The question now is not just whether Cullum will give the order, but what the cost of that decision will be if he does. Will it destroy the fragile political balance within the WSB? Will it provoke a civil war inside the organization, between those who still believe in codes of conduct and those who operate from fear and vengeance? And above all, will the Corinthos family be able to survive another storm, one crafted not from street-level violence, but from the cold machinery of sanctioned elimination? Every beat of this storyline tightens the tension around Sonny's neck, and as the noose draws tighter, the audience is left breathless, wondering if the man who has cheated death so many times can outwit not just his enemies but the very institutions meant to protect justice. The countdown has begun, and whatever Cullum decides will ripple far beyond Port Charles. In this dark hour, it's not just Sonny's fate hanging in the balance, it's the soul of the show itself. Ross Cullum has never been a man of empty threats or unfinished business. As the director of the WSB, he is a strategist in every sense, calculated, composed, and ruthlessly efficient. He does not operate on impulse or sentiment, and that's what makes him so terrifying. Cullum is the architect of action, the one who drafts the blueprint and ensures every step is carried out with surgical precision. He is not the type to issue a vague directive and walk away. He is the kind who watches the fallout with measured detachment, ensuring every objective is met. And that very nature, his unwavering commitment to execution, has made Sonny Corinthos more vulnerable than ever before. It's not just that Cullum has the means to eliminate Sonny, it's that he has the will to follow through, without hesitation or remorse, if he determines the move serves a greater strategic purpose. Over the years, Sonny has stared down countless threats, from violent mob wars to betrayal within his inner circle. He has survived scenarios that would have destroyed lesser men. But the danger posed by Cullum is not another episode of street-level hostility, it is the manifestation of institutional power wielded in the shadows. Sonny is no stranger to confrontation, but when the battlefield shifts from the streets of Port Charles to the confidential halls of international intelligence, the rules change dramatically. The cold reality is that this time, Sonny may be fighting an enemy whose tools are far deadlier and whose motivations are rooted not in revenge or rivalry, but in calculated bureaucratic eradication. What makes this threat especially ominous is the quiet efficiency of Cullum's character. He does not need to make a public display or send a warning shot. A single command from him could trigger a chain of events that leave Sonny critically wounded, perhaps even comatose or presumed dead. It wouldn't be a dramatic shootout or an explosive ambush, it would be swift, surgical, and precise, designed to leave no trace. And even if Sonny somehow survives such a brutal attack, the ripple effects could devastate everyone he loves. The Corinthos family has weathered many storms, but another near-death experience for Sonny would reopen deep wounds that have barely scarred over. There is something profoundly unsettling about the potential of watching history repeat itself in even more brutal form. The image of Sonny fighting for his life again is enough to trigger trauma across every member of his family. Carly's panic, Michael's quiet unraveling, Dante's war between duty and blood, and Christina's raw emotional breakdown would each mirror the chaos of past tragedies while pushing the entire Corinthos clan into a new emotional crisis. The threat against Sonny isn't just about taking down a man, it's about destabilizing the emotional and moral center of a powerful family, a center that has already been tested to its limits. Cullum, for all his control, may not fully appreciate the human cost of his strategy. To him, Sonny may be a liability, a disruptive force in a broader game of influence and covert control. But to the people of Port Charles, Sonny is not simply a mob boss, he is a father, a partner, a protector, and, in many ways, a symbol of complicated resilience. His removal, whether permanent or even temporary, would create a vacuum that no one is prepared to fill. Chaos would follow not just in the underworld, but in the lives of those who rely on Sonny as a constant, however flawed he may be. Yet Cullum's deliberation suggests that he is well aware of the stakes. That's what makes the tension so suffocating. He is not a villain in the traditional sense. He doesn't act out of hatred or personal vendetta. He operates from a place of rationalized necessity. If Cullum chooses to authorize a hit on Sonny, it won't be because he's angry. It will be because in his calculation, Sonny's continued existence jeopardizes something larger, something Cullum values more than any one man's life. And if that's the conclusion he reaches, then no emotional plea, no family grief, and no local backlash will deter him. The decision will be made, the wheels will turn, and by the time anyone realizes what's happening, it may be too late. It's this looming possibility that casts a heavy shadow over General Hospital's current narrative. The audience is watching a chess match play out with deadly consequences, and Sonny, for once, is not the one controlling the board. He is the piece under threat, boxed in and exposed, and his only chance of survival may lie in the unpredictable nature of the people around him. Will someone intercept Cullum's plan? Will Marco's ambition force a premature move, or will Jen Sidwell's false confidence implode the entire structure from within before Cullum can act? As each hour passes without clarity, the emotional weight bears down harder on Sonny's family. They know something is coming. They feel the air changing. And even if they don't yet know the details, the familiar dread, the kind that comes just before life is ripped apart, is beginning to take hold. They've lived through loss, betrayal, violence, and grief, but the threat of losing Sonny again, in a way that feels out of reach, governed by invisible powers, is almost unbearable. For viewers, the anxiety is mounting not just because of the potential violence, but because of the emotional aftermath it promises. General Hospital thrives on these moments where strategic plotting collides with intimate heartbreak, and this storyline threatens to be one of the most brutal yet. Sonny's life is on the line not because he picked a fight, but because someone else decided he no longer belongs in the game. And that someone is a man who never leaves loose ends. What happens next will determine more than Sonny's fate. It will reveal how far the WSB is willing to go in the name of control, and whether any legacy, no matter how powerful, can withstand the cold calculus of men like Ross Cullum. Ross Cullum may very well be poised to emerge as Sonny Corinthos' most dangerous adversary yet. The simmering tension within the WSB and the shadowy decisions being orchestrated behind closed doors are all pointing toward a calculated strike, one that could not only destabilize Sonny physically, but also threaten the emotional and power structures he has long commanded. If Sonny survives what appears to be a looming assassination attempt, the resulting fallout may unleash a vendetta like Port Charles has never seen. Cullum is not just another mob rival or impulsive thug, he is a highly disciplined, deeply resourced strategist with institutional power behind him. That makes him more than a threat. It makes him the kind of enemy Sonny can't afford to ignore.